Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for February 1st, Wednesday, February 1st, 2023 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I get to decide which vibe I'd like to ride and expand through. And as I sat down for the astro today, I appreciate my inner astrological jukebox. I think that's what it is, because some of these songs, yes, I love and listen to, and other ones, I'm like, Today I actually looked up the lyrics of the song that popped in my head and the meaning of it. And the song for the astro today that came through was The King of Pain. I don't actually know if it's by Sting or The Police. I think it's by The Police. But I get that all mixed up. So it's by one of them. Both. Who knows? Sting wrote it, but I think it's with The Police. And the first line is like, there's a little black spot on the sun today. And when I looked up the meaning of it, it talks about how being an empathetic person in this world can be so painful. And as I look at the astro, I'm like, okay, I see it. And that's an interesting thing, because it's an interesting thing being an Aquarius. I grew up with an Aquarius father, and I found him to be very aloof, and I also see now, and could see then a lot of times too, that a lot of times the aloofness was because there was so much feeling that was challenging. I think if you ask a lot of Aquariuses, that they would say they're highly empathetic, beneath that cool exterior that Aquarius energy can give off. And so with all of us, I like to remind us in the time of Aquarius, we are like antennas or even satellite dishes picking up the vibes. Aquarius is the sign of community, and it's local community, but it's also our larger community of being beyond humans, earthlings on this planet, that connected web. And when I say earthlings, I am including the animals and their feelings. I believe animals all have feelings. I believe animals all have layers of sentience. We are feeling their stuff. We are feeling other human stuff. It can be a lot. And if you are somebody who is very empathetically tuned in, it can feel like the king of pain. It can feel very challenging being here. And so this energy is being highlighted today as the sun in Aquarius is connecting to Chiron in Aries. And this to me brings up one of, I think, the biggest pains that there is on this planet. How many of us have been programmed into being something else, someone else? How many of us have been deprogrammed from our most authentic nature? And the pain of pushing those parts of ourselves down and away and not feeling that those parts of ourselves are valued or needed or wanted on this planet. And there is so much of that. And even if you are not experiencing that in your day-to-day, which I would say we all are to some degree or another, but even if you don't feel like you're experiencing that, this is deep in our history. This is deep in our roots as well. So I love the energies of Aries and Aquarius connecting. It is a sextile, so it's a happy, supportive connection. Aries energy is our I am. And Aquarius is like, hey, we've gone almost around the zodiac. We've achieved a lot. But have we achieved the celebration of who we are? The celebration and the inner knowing that who you are is meant to be. Who you really are is exactly what the world needs. And so in these energies connecting, there is a call to celebration about that. But there's also a call to notice where you are still hiding those energies. And it's a call like to recognize you can expand your vibe. Please do. Like, please show up. Please be extra. Please be too much for this world, right? Show up in that energy. Yeah, so that being said, triggery energy is also going to be coming in, especially as we move through the day. As we move through the day, we're going to enter our second revolution evolution day of Sun in Aquarius, and we are building ever closer to this Sun and Uranus square and a full moon on Sunday. So the feels are going to start increasing. Now, this also goes back to the energy mantra. We begin the day with Moon in Gemini, Sun in Aquarius, the mental vibes. And this goes into the King of Pain song as well, because our mind and emotions are kind of like the separation of church and state. State and church, I don't know. It can go either way. It can be a really hard thing to separate these things. As soon as we have a feeling, our mind comes in, tries to analyze, wants to see what's going on, wants to find the root, can tell even greater stories, and just start spinning, right? It goes the other way as well. We have a thought, and then our emotions are like, I have feelings about that thought. And they can start spinning. And before we know it, our consciousness has gone out the window, and sometimes we're flying, and sometimes we're spiraling. And there is a call to awareness in that energy, because if you are somebody who really resonates with that song, The King of Pain, there's a really good chance that a lot of times you're finding yourself in that spiral and you're not necessarily using your mental prowess, your consciousness to help support you for not being in that energy. So, still using Dreams of Gaia Tarot today, I pulled the King of Air, the King of Pain, the King of Air. They're all present right now. And keep your judgment free of emotional impediment is one of the key phrases. But this is a call to consciousness. This is a call to recognize your mind and, find some focus and find where you can... hate some of these words popping into my head, but really be in control. The Osho card for this is the control card, where you can be in control. I think instead of control, I like aware, where you can be aware of how your emotions and your mind are feeding patterns that you don't necessarily have to stay in. So, moving on from this energy, we have the moon moving into Cancer in the afternoon. So our emotional energy is going to go from, some simmering to a full boil with the moon in Cancer over the next few days. And so those triggers, where they may have been at a little simmer, they're going to start bubbling up and boiling over. So keeping your consciousness going, look at this card, keeping your consciousness going will help and support so much in this energy. I also pulled a few Osho cards, and the top of the card is the Thunderbolt card for today. And so, like I said, emotional energy, the King of Pain, we really may feel some of these triggers from some of these challenges bubbling up to the surface and bubbling over. A lot of times, this card indicates our ego feeling very challenged. And the solution is, if you are feeling your ego being challenged, come back into source. Come back into source within yourself. Know your value. It's not to say that these pieces don't have to crumble and release, but know your value. And call in support. The guidance card. Spiritual support is one way to move through thunderbolt moments. Eye of the needle energies. I am available to you. Book a reading, right? There's so much support. Ask your counsel. Ask your team. I just recorded February's month ahead video, which I'm not releasing to everybody like I did for January. But for February, our spiritual path, February and beyond, our spiritual path, really getting strong in that, is going to be a very strong support in moving forward. So do keep that in mind. Also consider the journey of ascension. So I mentioned that in yesterday's video. The link is below. You can always reach out with more questions about that. However, I'm going to leave this video here for today. So you can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and value your consciousness and honor your values. Namaste.